And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Drew! They've done it again, this team!
What a magnificent piece of football!
Really, really good goal!
You can't legislate for that! Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
Love it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. That's all right, mate. You just cough on camera. The second we come in, that's it. Hike it up, lad. Hike it up. We don't want to hear you groggy in the afternoon. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DN35 podcast. We're not only back in the Football League, we're heading back to Blunder Park South. The Mariners are just, 5 games away from a Wembley final in May. With Jordan Cropper flinging it in from 75 yards out. We beat League One leaders, and to talk about that, the only man on this show that went to the game, Bruce, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Welcome to the broom closet. Gordon the Gopher is in here, and I'll come out and leave my wife of 20-odd years shortly, as a la Philip Schofield. You've
got Gordon rather than Philip, have you? You've got
that's it.
The fluffy little fella.
Yeah, exactly. Gordon the Gopher was my lad, my thing, wasn't it? Or was there a duck? Mike, he might be too young for it.
No, it was fluffy, little and fluffy when he Gordon the Gopher.
You're doing what with a gopher in the cupboard?
Yeah, that's true. I'm already regretting wearing this Santa-esque jumper. It's quite warm in here. Well, that wasn't bad. Never in doubt. Everyone expected it. Team sheet came out. No strikers. 4-6-0 or what everyone was saying. And, 1-0 down after 4 minutes from a pretty decent strike, it has to be said. Bruce, after that, you should have been, I assume you lumped on 100 quid for us to win, didn't you?
I sort of went into it with little expectation, really. I don't like going to a home game against... Everyone was sort of, it's Plymouth and they're the best team in the draw and stuff like that. But it's not Real Madrid, is it? Or Juventus or, Barca or somebody. It's Plymouth, and they're top of the division above. But it was, I won't say I was going to lump on. I was a bit like... Because we did stand off them for the goal a little bit. It was all a little bit easy. But the game hadn't really settled at that point, and it was, like you say, here we go. It's going to be a long afternoon, and then from that point forward, really, from 5 minutes in, it was just we took the game to them, and before we equalised, I think you'll have seen on the highlights maybe that the corner came from a shot that was somehow deflected over the bar. I don't know how it missed. And Andy Smith, best goal of the game, wasn't it?
That is going down as my goal of the season. The fact it went and Liam's goal cam, great idea. Whoever thought of that? It showed that it went in off his arse. Brilliant. Can't ask for a better. Was that his first ever professional goal? Yeah.
I don't remember him scoring, but it was so funny though, because we got a really good view of it, sort of from where we are at the Osmond end of the lower. It sort of, we knew where it was going before he did, and I could just see it rolling towards the inside of the post. And if they'd have had a man on the line, on the posts like the good old days, they'd have just hoiked it clear. But it just sort of trickled in. It was surreal, really. And from that moment onwards, we dominated the game, and I don't really know. I know they made 5 changes, so I'm not going to profess that it was their best team that we beat. But they had half of the team that are at the top of the league. They brought on some of the players who hadn't started during the game. But I thought the big difference was whether it was I think I put it on Twitter last night, whether it was the amount of space we seemed to have, and whether it was our movement and off the ball that created the space, or what, I don't know, because our players seemed to thrive with the extra room that they were given, and we tore them apart, quite frankly.
Hurst said we started timidly, but we soon got into it, and he was worried about people going missing, which is what can happen, especially with an early goal conceding, and that didn't seem to be the case at all. Stephen Schumacher from Plymouth, their manager, he's full of the joys of springs when they lose. My God, he made John Yem look talkative. He said it'd have been nice to have had someone on the pitch that someone could actually pass to a grey shirt. So he was full of love and well, it was incredible, the turnaround. Can you put it down to anything, Bruce? I mean, we might go on to Taylor chat later and the fact that he was missing, and it looks like we might have to, look for some relatively different alternatives up front, given that Bim was out from Pepper was out from a hamstring last week. Orsi and Taylor both went off injured on Thursday, and from what Hurst was saying, they don't look like they're going to be back anytime soon. John McAtee is now just playing for Luton reserves and not coming back. What did you make of that makeshift forward line? And was there any change? What changed it around? Because it was pretty quick that Holohan had that shot that went over that you were talking about.
Yeah, I don't know which of. I'll be honest, I didn't pay enough attention really, but I don't know where their changes came in the lineup. But their two centre backs, or certainly the left-hand sided centre back, I think it was their number 22, Harry Clifton. Just Harry works hard, and but he's not lightning quick. But this guy, he absolutely terrorised him. He just couldn't live with his running. I don't know whether he was. I'd be surprised if he was one of the regulars, because he really struggled, and a lot of the good stuff that we did came down our right hand side, so in front of us in the lower in the first half, and I just think that we just looked a little bit more fluid. I mean, I saw somebody moaning that, does that mean Taylor's rubbish? You know what they're like, overreaction.
Was that me?
Yeah, probably. But it's like, no, we play a different way when Taylor plays, and if we can do it consistently with a more mobile front line, we looked. Clifton played on the right as well, which is obviously his natural. He is right-footed, so he played on the right-hand side of the three. But I actually thought that Khan was quite quiet yesterday, which is quite surprising considering we won 5-1. But he is a very tidy player. I thought they were really good. If he played in the Premier League, Kyle, there's a reason why he's now playing in League One, and that fall will probably continue, because Harry Clifton tore him a new one.
I touched my microphone. Can you hear me now? Cool.
That's not the gopher. That's not the gopher in front of you then, with a dark hairdo.
That's it. Yes. Considering Taylor was off, do you think that's what maybe set up Plymouth? They'd sort of set up to play the whole, because I don't want to say that we lump it to the big man, but there is an element of that in our game nowadays. And because Taylor wasn't there, we had to play an entirely different way. Do you think Plymouth were not prepared for that? Because I can't remember the times we haven't played with Taylor, really, apart from maybe Newport's second half.
We've always struggled results-wise, haven't we? We tend to struggle results-wise in the past. But, I mean, we can't mention yesterday without mentioning the performance of Kiernan as well. He's got, he's coming for some...
I don't have a jingle for him.
He's coming for some stick. We'll work on that. We'll just get it in place before he goes back.
He's going in January. I don't think have we done that? You've already professed your love for Harry Clifton, haven't you?
I'm not saying
Is that right?
I'm not saying no.
Oh, I'm just wild about Harry, and he's just wild about me. The heavenly blisses of his kisses fill me with ecstasy.
I think Julie Garland will be on to us for that one.
Somebody's had a quiet Sunday at home, haven't you? A note to do.
Oh, well, I also turned the Supermax one into just audio so we can play in the background like this, so we can still talk over it.
It's like we're in some shit club now.
Yeah, this is it. This is going to be our nightclub music. How was Supermax yesterday? Was he all right?
I had Joe Spate bloody singing Supermax at me yesterday in the second half. Stuff behind me. I'm like...
Is this going to be on the whole time now, is it, yeah?
And it loops, so it never ends. It can be in a lift.
I'm going to start sending your missus money to take you out on a Sunday. Take him to the pub, get him some dinner. I know everyone will just probably look at the phones, but just get him out, let him out the cupboard.
I'm going to pay her some money to lock him in the bloody cupboard if he carries
Well,
on.
that's the problem, though. If I've got internet access and, I can still use the computer, I'll just be making loads of jingles all the time.
Mate, you're using the internet for the wrong stuff.
Anyway. What? She comes down late at night on 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm slamming the laptop down because I'm making a jingle for Brendan Kiernan.
What are you doing? I'm just looking at Judy Garland. Look,
it was just pornography. I wasn't making another jingle, I promise.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I don't know what she'd prefer, to be honest. So, Kiernan, though, going back to the game, Kiernan was he was a willing runner yesterday into the channels and down out wide, and I just think we were just more fluid, but more, the way we moved it about, and we just with Khan, Clifton, and Kiernan, they didn't really know where we were coming, which side which side or the middle we were coming down, and I think we just attacked from all angles. It was just a really entertaining, and we were in the bar when the fourth went in. Maisie wanted a half-time pint, so we'd already gone in. The bar was bouncing, and then obviously I don't know if you've ever been in the bar at town when one of the goals has gone in. You get all the chanting in the bar then and stuff. It was.
I was at my season ticket in the lower was during the 2009-2010 season, so okay. there weren't many goals to celebrate in that bar.
No, but when that goal went in, they were singing Up the Mariners and all sorts of different. So everyone was absolutely bouncing to be 4-1 up at half time, and I'm not quite sure what I realise now. I did wonder what Glennon was doing in the penalty area when a cross came in from the left hand side, but I realised it followed on from a corner, I think. And so he'd taken the corner and then run into the area. But the amount of space they afforded him for that goal, but the Afete goal was a lovely move, wasn't it?
Oh, it was all beautiful. We've already talked about Kiernan's back heel, but that was audacious. I mean, I know Smith's was the better back heel of the lot, but that was just the run and the goal from Clifton, and then that just to try it. The lad's been on his arse since he started here. He seems to have been really low on confidence, and then he just like, I'll just flick it in from the most acute angle I've ever seen, and I'll go on and get another.
Have we missed him in the last? We've criticised his lack of end product, and compared him earlier in the season to Sousa, with little end product. But we have sort of, to be fair, we have said the last couple of weeks, or I think I've thought it, whether I've said it on here, but he has got better, and he looked maybe he's just been nervous about his wedding. Now he's got
yeah.
Now he's married. Now he's married. Maybe the speech. Maybe he's been shitting himself about the speech for months. I don't know. But
we need to have
all out the way. He's firing on all cylinders. Get him signed up.
We need to have an analyst to look at whether or not there is a difference between married footballers and single footballers. Maybe that's what it is.
Or maybe married Kiernan and single Kiernan, or engaged Kiernan. Let's. But no.
He's going through a divorce. Oh, our goal ratio is going to go in the pan.
I think
just trying to be a relationship counsellor for them to make sure the goals keep coming.
As long as the honeymoon lasts till January.
Look, he didn't mean that, love. He was just being, he's just a bit cranky today. Don't worry about it. He loves you, really. Kiernan, will you go bloody sort it out with your wife already? We've got Halifax on Tuesday. Oh, sure.
No, you're right. It's important. But yeah, I thought he was really good. And to be 4-1 up at half time was absolutely brilliant. And then second half they came out, had a little go. Like you say, that Clifton. Just going back to the Clifton, the third goal. Sorry.
We're running. There's too many to count.
We were all moaning. There's a couple of guys that sitting near us that are quite sort of typically lower. The lower finders.
What does that mean? Material. Hang on, we've got to look into this. What does this mean, Bruce? What does lower? What does
They're not
lower
frightened
mean?
To express themselves to the officials.
There's only one official the Lowers talk to, and it's always the one they can keep company, isn't it?
Yeah, well, anyway, the lino, but the guy had 2 goes at Clifton, didn't he? And we were all screaming for a free kick. And then I looked on the telly today, and the ref sort of waves play on, so he'd seen it. He'd seen the first one. He tried to pull his shirt, didn't he? Then he tried to bear hug him and sort of pull him back. And then he got to the byline, beat the third guy to the byline, just like he wasn't there. And then, like you say, it was a brilliant finish. But yeah, if it was down to if the Lower had got its way, we'd have had a free kick about halfway inside their half. So it just shows what we know. Stood there moaning at the official.
Are you basically telling Bruce's official position now is for the Lower to sit down and shut up?
No. Maybe we give the officials a little bit of credit for a change.
And Afete, how was he? He's another one that's been on the wrong end of the Boo Boys this season. But that run for the second and for the fifth, and providing a goal himself. How was he yesterday?
I don't think he's been particularly booed, but
you know what I mean. He's been.
I don't think that's. I think the fans have been pretty good with the team this season. But I know what you mean. We've said that he's not been playing at his best, and I would stand by that. But he looked a lot better yesterday. He looked a lot more. He looked a lot more himself, a lot more comfortable. So hopefully he's got his. That's got to be good for confidence. I mean, if we. I don't know what sort of team we're going to put out on Tuesday in that stupid game, but next Saturday against Doncaster, Town are going to tear them apart, aren't they?
Are you trying to link me in? Are you trying
New
to
Town? Oh yeah, you did say he was on at 20 past, didn't you? That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, New Town are going to tear him a new one.
He's after me bloody job here. Look, that's great. Well, look, Dan is listening in. He doesn't want to hear, us buoyant and happy. He wants miserable fuckers down the M180, and he has to get off 30 miles earlier for that nowadays. But in the meantime, we'll come back. Dan Pearson, Doncaster fan, is going to give us the rundown of what to expect from a team that is really going above itself to call itself the Vikings when they shouldn't bother. Let's be back in a second. When I can find the thing. I can't. Hang on, I've got this though. No, that don't work. There you go.
Behind, so that's the final act of the game, which means Brisbane Town are back in the Football League just a year after those awful scenes that
I've really got to edit that better because it just ends with Tonda talking about the Exeter game. Dan, welcome aboard. Your cupboard is far nicer than my cupboard. Is that a real microphone or is it fake?
It is real, mate. It is.
Is it real? Oh, okay, fine.
It looks fire extinguisher next to it.
Is that
fire extinguisher hung next to it?
The black one suggests it's powder, so it's good for
like a fire extinguisher. Still proudly wearing the shirt though, mate. That's good. We've suffered over in recent years, like you have, and you've got to keep going, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got to come on in colours, haven't you, for sure.
What's the brand for the shirt? Have you not just gone Macron like everybody else?
No, it's Oxen. So it's a local company, Elite Pro Sports, and Oxen do a lot of rugby gear. So I think it has been said that this looks very much rugby-esque. But I quite like it as a shirt. I'm a fan of a collar. So yeah, I'm happy that we've returned to the traditional red and white hoops from the solid red kit that we had with thin pinstripe hoops last season. I don't know if you remember that one or not.
I'll be honest. You're very lucky, Dan. Yeah.
we see into the league last year, Alex, didn't we?
I was on Mugabe lockdown. The league did not exist. It started with Wrexham and that was it. And that's all there is apparently in lower league nowadays. Now they're the darlings of BBC and alike. We'll talk about that another time. Like your mug, Mike. So, Dan, how's it going? Bruce was saying you were going to come on, and Doncaster fans have been quite dour, quite down about things. A quick look on social media suggested it, but you're above us in the league. What's going on?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. First and foremost,
that's all right.
It's a pleasure to be on. It's a tough one for Donny at the minute. I think you've got to look at the last 18 months as a Rovers fan. It's been a downward spiral. We were first or close to first in Christmas 2020. And then Darren Moore jumped ship, went to Sheff Wednesday. Ben Whiteman went to Preston North End. And from there, it's just been a real struggle. There was a focus on loan players. So obviously Andy Butler came in. It wasn't his players. It was Darren Moore's players. And I think he struggled to get a tune from any of them, really. And then we've just seen this downward spiral start from there and continue. And we finished 14th in that season. And then Richie Wellens came in the summer. The board didn't trust Andy Butler to continue. He didn't get a single transfer window, which I thought was harsh. Brought Richie Wellens in, and then it was a bit of a car crash, really. He spent his money on Ben Close and Tommy Rowe, who were decent players, don't get me wrong. But then I think he needed a lot more depth in the squad, and we just struggled last season. It was a horrible season to watch. I think you mentioned it, that you've been through similar times, and yeah, just not very enjoyable to watch Doncaster Rovers last season. Richie Wellens got his marching orders. The board sacked him, and then they brought in Gary McSheffrey. That split the fan base. Some people were like, yeah, he's a young manager, he's inexperienced, but it might be something that we can build a project on. Other people saw it for what it was and said that it was a risky appointment, and we ended up seeing relegation to League Two. And then it was quite a positive start to the season this season. I think the board's backed Gary McSheffrey. I think we've recruited well in the summer. Started 6 unbeaten, but then hit a bit of a speed bump, and the performances weren't great in that initial run at the start of the season. But we were getting results, and I think if performances aren't great, but you're getting results, you'll take it. But you want to see those performances. You want to see progression on and off the pitch, and we've just not seen that. So the board took the decision to relieve McSheffrey of his duties and Steve Eyre, the assistant. And then recently we've appointed Danny Schofield, who's another inexperienced manager at this level, but I think is more of a head coach. And I think this is potentially the start of a project which hopefully does see us reap some rewards. And we've started to see it, but we'll kind of gloss over yesterday's result, I think.
We've all had worse, don't worry about it. And I guess what the question is, though, is that what's the general consensus around the fan base, around the ownership? I mean, let's face it, it's not the worst that Donny will ever have, but or ever had. But were the expectations this season to go straight back up and return, or was there a sense of, look, there's a bit of change to be had, and there's been a fair few managerial changes, so we need a year of consolidation, I guess? Or
yeah, I think the sensible football fan would say consolidation should have been the aim this season. But I think the board have probably had quite a bit of pressure put on them to show ambition, especially after a poor 18 months or so. And the noises coming from the club have been that we're wanting an instant return to League One. So I think the expectation that increases expectations from the fans. Me personally, I think a consolidation season would have been better. But because of so many times the board and members of the management team have come out and said that the targets haven't changed, promotion is the target, an instant return to League One, I think anything less than playoffs this season will be seen as a failure from the fans. And it's tough, because I think you're right, it should really be a consolidation season after such a turbulent 18 months for me.
are you surprised they went down that road then, instead of sort of trying to lower expectations, or was it trying to drum up, I don't know, season ticket sales or what? It adds undue pressure, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a catch-22, because if they say it's consolidation season after a poor 18 months, you're not going to get buy-in from the fans. I mean, your guys' season ticket sales are tremendous this season. I think is it true that you've closed half of the away allocation that you normally do, or
so you guys won't get the corner, you'll just get the bit behind it, which is usually fine for Harrogate and Sutton, because they'll all get 300 seats each. But for you guys, unfortunately, you'll all be crammed in. But by the looks of it, looking at the Twitter yesterday, there's a fair few on the black market in Doncaster during the week.
Yeah, it was a poor performance. It was embarrassing. I think that's the best way of putting it. I think the setup for the team wasn't too dissimilar to what we saw against Crewe, Stevenage or Gillingham under Danny Schofield, and we seem to get a better performance and a bit more cohesion in the squad. And I don't know if it was mentality yesterday that they've gone into the game thinking that the game's already won, with Kings Lynn being two divisions lower, but we didn't lay a glove on them, and it makes me worry for Saturday against you guys, because I saw the highlights and you looked a different level, to be honest.
Don't worry. Watch the Hartlepool highlights. You'll be fine then.
We don't always look like that.
You'll feel all at ease. It's results may differ. It's probably the asterisk we should put on the bottom of it. But I mean, you did start all right, and I mean, Kings Lynn. First and foremost, at least you didn't have to go there, because that is an experience that nobody wants. It is probably the worst view in the National League. The best view was from the toilets. It was the general consensus, and I'm not lying. So they're a tricky team to play, aren't they, Bruce? Like, I mean, let's face it, our team hasn't really changed since that game in the summer, in the spring, has it really?
I thought I watched the BBC highlights yesterday of your game, and like you say, they looked a really good side. I don't know whether you made them look a good side. I mean, I know they're playing with plenty of confidence, and Tommy Widrington, former player of ours, would have had them, go there with nothing to lose. But they looked like they played some good stuff, didn't they? And they caused you all sorts of problems. I don't know whether that was partly them and partly you, was it?
Yeah, I think you've hit nail on head. I think we played particularly poorly, but I think they probably had a really good performance, and it just made the gap look even bigger. I think anybody who didn't know football, if they watched that as a game, they'd have swapped us around in divisions, to be honest, because we just, like I say, I think it was mentality. I think we've gone in thinking that the game's already won, and Kings Lynn, like I say, nothing to lose. They've come and give us a game and taught us a lesson, to be fair. So I don't know. It's one of those, bit of a cliche, but maybe it's the kick up the backside that we need coming into a tough game at Grimsby.
And you say you've got, looking at your run of fixtures coming up, you've got us, then Colchester, then Walsall and Newport and Harrogate. Are you looking at these sort of games to sort of turn your season around going into Christmas? Because it's not all doom and gloom, I guess, is it? This is an opportunity to push yourself into the playoffs, isn't it? Am I being too optimistic?
Yeah, I think it's you look at runs of fixtures and on paper there's more winnable games than not. I think we had a tough start on paper with Stockport, Bradford. They're all teams who were tipped to be up there or thereabouts. But yeah, I agree with what Adam said. The pressure is on Donny this weekend, because we need a response, and like I say, the expectation from the fan base is there, and I try and stay clear of social media as much as I can after a defeat, because it goes into meltdown, doesn't it? It's like one defeat and the world's ending.
No, we're never like that over here.
No, if anything,
no.
Yeah.
Grimsby fans never overreact. We haven't got.
We are like
doom and gloom mongers.
No, we're like Fulham. We're like Fulham fans, aren't you? It's just a light shrug of the shoulders.
We just clap when we lose.
Yeah.
We clap the opposition.
Yeah.
Well played, lads. Well done.
Football was the winner this evening, lads.
I'm not sure that I completely agree with Adams, though, that the pressure's all on Donny. I mean, you've got to remember that we have lost back-to-back. Yes, we had a great result in the Cup, but we've lost back-to-back league games that we would consider that we should have probably taken a minimum of 2 points and probably 4 points from. So if we got beat by you at home, 3 defeats on the trot in the league, we're going to be slipping down the table. I think it's all set up nicely for a tough battle that neither team's going to want to. But yeah, sure, after last weekend, you would think that we're going to go into it with more confidence, perhaps than you guys. But I don't think that the pressure's all on Donny. I think that in the league, we're still, our home form still isn't brilliant.
I'm just hoping to see a performance that we've seen again in the league rather than in the cup, because I think under Danny Schofield we've started to see us play football a little bit more, pass it with a bit of conviction, and I think that's what was lacking under Gary McSheffrey. We seem to set up to nullify an opposition and not actually play to our strengths. And I think with the wingers that we've got and the attacking threat that we could have, playing football how Danny's tried to get us to play over the 3 games that he's been in charge, I think we're starting to see signs of potential there, and just everything positive that we saw against Crewe, Stevenage and Gillingham, it wasn't there yesterday. And like I say, it's got to be down to the players' mentality, because in terms of shape, set up, and there was a few personnel changes, but nothing major that I'd expect to disrupt the flow of the game as much as it did. I think coming up against lower league opposition, you expect to be under pressure for 15, 20 minutes maybe, where they come out all guns blazing trying to hit you. But Kings Lynn, they were relentless. They just didn't stop. I thought they'd kind of die down on like 60, 70 minutes, but it was a long 90 minutes yesterday.
Just honestly don't go down there. They're all like that. It's terrible. I guess who should we look out for? I'm trying to look through the squad. Like, considering how close we are to one another, there aren't any. Bruce, could you see any former Mariners in there? All I can think of is Danny Andrews, and he's buggered off ages ago.
I don't think there's any former Mariners. I think the only link is Danny Amos at yours now from us.
Right, get him in the team. Get him in the team. We all know what happens, don't we? Get Danny Amos in the team. His only goal of the season in a 1-0 win over Donny at home.
Yeah. He scored, didn't he? Oh no, it was Glennon, wasn't it?
Oh,
well, you think
probably?
Didn't he threaten to score from a couple of corners this season, or am I thinking of Glennon again? I'm just making it up.
I don't. Well, it's quite odd. Just like going back to yesterday, to sort of, last season how good Alex Hunt's deliveries into the box were, and on goal cam, Liam's goal cam, you've got Alex Hunt still on the edge of the penalty area doing nothing because you've got Glennon taking the free kicks and the set pieces this season. We're suddenly, after years of not having somebody that could put a decent ball into the box, we're spoiled for choice in that side of things.
Christ alive! I'm just looking at Kings Lynn's fixtures. They've pretty much won everything. They've only lost 2 games. That's incredible. This isn't a Kings Lynn podcast though, so
have they still got that basket case of a chairman?
Yeah. Old Lovejoy.
Yeah.
Old Lovejoy, yeah, he's got between that and what, Bargain Hunt. he's a freaking character. How much did? Oh no, you weren't at their place, were you? That's what I was going to ask. No. How much you charged her? If you'd have been at theirs, it'd have been £35 a ticket, and he'd have made you pay it. Who have we got to look out for? Who's the worries? I mean, is it just your lad with 7 goals?
Yeah, I mean Miller's decent. He'll run for the full 90 minutes. He gives 100% effort from literally the first whistle till he's either taken off or the final whistle. Molyneux he'll potentially start on the right wing. He's disappointed me this season, to be fair. I think he came with a bit of expectation. He did really well at Hartlepool last season, scoring 12 goals. He's yet to score for us. I think that might be that springboard that gets his season going. He's got that attacking threat. There's something about him, but probably just tries to do a little bit too much. He's one of those players where once he's beaten his man, I'd just like him to get rid of the ball and move it on, but he tries to turn back and beat him again, and it's just like, just get it whipped in and create an opportunity. But I think he's probably just trying a little bit too hard to get that first goal or an assist. Kyle Hurst on the other wing as well. He's decent. He picked him up from Birmingham. Young lad. I think he's got bags of potential and a big future ahead of him. But yeah, that's probably about it at the minute. Harrison Biggins, he's had a bit of a resurgence under Danny Schofield. Didn't look too much under McSheffrey, but he's improved under Danny Schofield. Scored a couple of goals in the last couple of league games as well. So probably those 4.
Have you still got Kieran Agard? How's he getting on?
We have, yeah. He's a bit of a utility player more than anything. I feel for him because speaking to him after games, he's chomping at bit. He's wanting to get on. He's wanting to build a partnership with Miller. And I think Miller up top on his own, he does become isolated as a lone striker. And as soon as we put 2 up top, we start to create more. I mean, take yesterday, for example, first shot on target was 63 minutes against a team 2 divisions below you. And I think that came when the shape changed a little bit and Miller had a bit more support next to him. So, yeah, Agard came on. He normally comes on off of the bench. He's had an impact from the bench early on in the season, but recent games he's not really had that same impact. But I'd like to see a partnership start to get built between those 2.
And I guess if we really wanted to get under your skin, what do we do? What's the game plan you would hate a team?
Can I try, Alex?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, I'm just going to share this. 1 sec.
Okay, hang on. What's he doing? I
Sharing
can't
my
even remember.
Hang on. This is Grimsby against Doncaster in 2007. It's a bit of a. Can you see that?
I mean, was it filmed on a potato?
It's not. It's quite old, but right. The ball's now going towards the Doncaster goal, which is in front of the Osmond.
I mean, you might have tried.
This is a back pass, right? Back pass to the keeper.
Smith.
Look, into the wind.
Whoa, that's not going very far at all.
Ball's coming back. Now the defender's just lobbed his own keeper.
Oh, yes! Wow, what can you say?
Are we going to be under some commercial rights for that
No.
that cheesy music? Where did
I
they
don't know
get
where it
that
came
from?
Hawaii 5-0, wasn't it?
How long have you been going to Rovers, Dan?
Oh, about 30 years. Yeah.
Did you do you remember the game against us in the League Cup? I think it was in 2004. We had 2 men sent off at Bellevue on a Tuesday night.
Don't bring up Boyson. Do not bring up Boyson.
We had Marcel Cass and somebody else sent off. I think we lost 3-2 right near the end. That was a bit of a lively night at your old ground.
Yeah, I enjoyed Bellevue. It was one of those grounds where I'm a sucker for like an old school. I say stadium. Bellevue wasn't a stadium.
Welcome to my club, mate. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
But yeah, like grounds, just they've got a bit of character. I love them. So the Eco Power, it's one of you.
What ground doesn't have character? But the Keep Moat, that's got character.
He's not got very good internet in the cupboard, Mike.
It's a bit standard though, isn't it? It's a concrete bowl with not much about it. I can't beat an old school stadium for me.
It's a bit of a tricky one when you build a new ground, isn't it? Because you want the corners filled in, but you also want each stand to be a little bit different. Yeah. And when you make a bowl out of it, you get if it's full, you get a better atmosphere. But the whole ground is the same. Yeah. You know, you've not really got the an end that you can call the home fans. I mean, you look at that. I mean, obviously at our level, you haven't got but I watched that Spurs game earlier, and that home end that they've got, it looks different to the rest of the ground. But I don't know how you can do that in a lower league, smaller stadium, because you don't want big gaps in the corners. The atmosphere at Blundell Park's loads worse since we took the corners out. Yet, like I say, you want a ground that's got a little bit of character if they're going to build you a new ground.
You've got to sort of go down the Brentford line, aren't you? They do different sort of sizes, and it's sort of the corners go down into like 10 rows or something. It gives it a little bit of separation, and that seems to work. But it's just have the same level all the way around. It's just like every other IKEA stadium.
Ours should look like a ship. We should do it like like one of those kids' beds that look like a red racing car. That's what our ship should look like. I don't know. When's this happened? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, it's for about the last 3 pods. It's like we've got Dr. Dalek in the top corner.
Is it still the same? I think this microphone's fucking up.
No, you're all right now.
I didn't notice. I was just generally not listening to you like usual anyway.
I mean, that's probably best for surviving. Lee Chisnell, John Lewis said, some Donny fucking nicked my flashing dust caps from my car at that game in 2004. Let's be honest, John, if you got flashing dust caps, they would deserve to be taken.
It's only dust caps and not the wheels.
Let it go, John. It's a long time ago, that. Let it go.
We don't forget round here, Mike.
Still have it on his underrecord.
Not when it's Yorkshire involved.
Look, I asked a genuine question earlier. If we were going to, if Paul Hurst has got his whiteboard up and he wants to annoy you, what does he do?
Focus on Roshan Williams. I think if your attacks are towards him, you'll get some joy, because we're playing a back 3 at the minute that can drop into a back 5 with the wing backs, and Roshan's just not having a good time of it at the minute. We've got a couple of injuries back there, so yeah, I think focus your attacks towards him and he'll panic. That's where the goal came from yesterday. They sent that big lad on. I can't remember his name. His name's gone, but he was an absolute unit. And I said it to my family. They agreed with me. Every ball was going to go straight to there. He was going to either nod it on or keep it, or hold on to it and lay it off. And Roshan Williams just needed to pin him down, and he couldn't. And the goal, it was a long throw. You'd struggle to get a cigarette paper between his studs and the ground, because he just didn't get off the floor at all. So yeah, I think focus your attacks down there, and I think you'll get some joy.
Where does he play?
I was hoping you were going to say he was a goalkeeper.
No,
Focus your attention on the goalkeeper.
Is the right of the 3 centre backs normally.
Okay, fine. We've got to work out.
So yeah, down your left side, you might have some joy.
Okay.
You've given us a very level approach, Dan. We've generally, when we've had people on this season so far, they've either been suicidal or they're coming up from some shit team at the bottom of the league, and they're telling us that they're going to absolutely tear us to pieces.
That lad from Salford was amazing.
Thank you for your fair assessment.
In all honesty, I try to be like as unbiased as possible, like on my channel and everything. I think obviously I always want us to win, but I don't expect us to win many games. To be fair, at the minute, it's one of those.
We've sent money down to Crawley to keep an eye on the lad that came on the pod.
Yeah, that's true. I think I said in the Samaritans number as well. My God,
oh, he's gone again.
A poor lad. Oh,
that lad from Salford's just on a tour of everywhere in the northeast, isn't he?
He thinks just because the BBC love him that everybody else does. I've just noticed actually that them and Wrexham are still in the hat for the next round of the cup. Can you imagine that they'd cancel all the other TV games if them two drew each other, wouldn't they? Wrexham and Salford.
He would get more. Oh. He would get more coverage than the fucking Queen dying. I'll tell you that.
There'd be a bank holiday.
Nicholas Witchell on the touchline.
There'd be a bank holiday, wouldn't there?
Just
public holiday for Salford against Wrexham in the FA Cup second round.
Interesting what you said about your right hand side, Dan. That I think from all the positives we can take from this year, I think Glennon and Khan down our left are probably two of the brightest sparks we've got. So that should be interesting if we can focus down the left how that sort of goes, because that seems to be our stronger side.
Yeah, I think Kyle Noyle, he's had a good season so far at right back, and he does cover a lot of errors from Roshan. But I think if there's too much going down that left hand side, I think we could get overrun down there for sure.
Well, I think you definitely could if you're playing wing backs, because Glennon is a very attacking left back, and you can see you probably get outnumbered down there on your right hand side. So yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan, and where can people come if they want to hear what you've got to say on Saturday's game?
So on YouTube.
Is it that bad, Mike?
I got most of the question. Yeah, on YouTube, just search 18 Dapper and you should be able to find me for sure. But unfortunately, couldn't get a ticket for the game, but there will be a match preview. But hopefully, I'll get to see some of you guys at the Eco Power on the return fixture.
Hopefully it's a 3 o'clock kickoff again, because usually they're bloody early. Last time we came to Donny, it was a bloody 11:30 kickoff or something. Spent the whole game, couldn't see anything. The sun was just in our eyes for that. Well, to be fair, you won 1-0 with a really early goal, but I hope we get 4,000 tickets again though. That'd be good fun.
Yeah, it'd be nice. To be fair, I think you guys will fill that away end in. I think it's about 3,500. So yeah, should be a good day, I think.
I'm looking forward to that one. I'll go back home to my dad's like I did last time. It's just 20 minutes away. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Donny away.
That'll be the closest you've been to a game for a while, won't it?
Well, there we go.
20 minutes away. What, you actually going to the game? Sorry, Mike. Sorry.
No, you can fuck off.
It's a low blow. It's a low blow. We've got Wimbledon coming up soon. I look forward to seeing you.
No one's going to get a ticket. No one's going to be able to get a ticket now. It's, now we've won again, everyone's going to be getting them.
We'll see. We'll see what happens Saturday.
Don't eat in the spoons, Bruce. Don't eat in the spoons, mate.
Oh, mate, I'm never going to Wetherspoons or the Wellow ever again.
Dan, have you played at Barrow yet?
Pay a bit more and buy decent food.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it was a Tuesday night, so that was another away fixture that I couldn't make. Because obviously,
you lucky bastard
in the morning. But I heard that I've dodged a bullet by not going to that one.
There was no bullets in that.
You know how tough us men are, Dan, when we're poorly, and bloody hell, I nearly died.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Right, we've got to let Dan go. He don't want to know about Bruce having the shits. Dan, thank you so much. Good luck for the rest of the season, apart from a Saturday, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And we'll speak to you soon. See you later.
Lovely stuff. Cheers.
Cheers, Dan.
Okay.
He was a nice lad,
apparently,
wasn't
He was lovely. We got to like start rank. Shall we start ranking them? We'll do like a Top Gear ranking system of away fans.
He's not going above that Salford lad. He's my all-time favourite. And the guy that we're not convinced wasn't sort of AI. You remember the one his name was weird and we didn't appear on screen? Was it the Crawley lad?
Yeah, he was the Crawley lad.
I'm not convinced he wasn't artificial intelligence.
Oh, Alex, who was it? Was just talking about your studio as well, by the way. So comparing it to John Moore in the 90s, I've just got this for you. Look.
This is nice. This studio.
Right,
what do you need? More LED lights? Is that what it is? Do you need some more?
Bit of ambience. That's what we need.
Bruce is coming in now with a really quiet video again.
No, there's no sound. There's no sound. I'm not playing it. That was his backdrop.
Do you want me to shave this and just have the mustache next week?
No.
I
think they're the same curtains my nan had.
I wouldn't be able to drop my kid off at school if I had a mustache. Let's be entirely honest.
She didn't live with John Moore, did she, Mike?
I don't know. Might have done.
You just got some flashback from when you were a young kid of curtains that weren't your granddad's.
Yeah. I didn't know John Moore was my granddad.
When I was at uni, I was at Lincoln, and we went to what's the name of the strip club in Lincoln? I've forgotten. Was it like Crystals or something? Anyway, we went, and the only thing I can remember from it is it had the same carpet that my living room had as a kid. It's just like, oh well, that's ruined a childhood image.
but more stains.
But yeah,
God,
about the same. Bruce hadn't been in there. There was a strip club in Lincoln, Ben. I don't know what it was called. Someone can, come and tell us. Maybe I need to open this door. Maybe that will start the internet better. God,
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Ollie.
Ollie. Oh yes, you can't legislate for that.
Crikey almighty! What a jovial podcast tonight.
Is it low blow to sort of like how you imagine how ecstatic John Moore must have been on his wedding night? Like the oh yeses coming from the boudoir must have been Brian Blessed-esque.
I reckon it was when he was halfway through the deed and he asked what Rowley thought of it.
Do you think we're ever going to get John on?
What do you make of that, Rowley? And Rowley stepped out the wardrobe.
That is disgusting.
That was diabolical.
That is one of the best finishes I've ever seen.
Oh dear. He's not coming on, is he? Is he not coming on then?
I don't think so.
Hey, we've got Dave Smith coming on though.
We do have Dave Smith.
Yeah, we've got Dave Smith coming on the pod. Talk about his time at Town. I lined it up in a high level deal on Friday at the Cricket Club Fireworks.
You met him at the Swashy, did you? Why have you not got Ryan Bennett on yet?
Did you fall in a bush?
He's too busy training, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
I assume that's fall in a bush, Mike. Thank you on Friday.
No, Dave Smith did. Bruce said, "I'll help you out if you come on the pod."
If you come on the podcast and talk to us about your time at Town. So yeah, that'd be quite interesting though, hearing about obviously he had a successful playing career with us. I mean, you couldn't start in a better season than 97, 98, could you? And then obviously stayed with us for a few years and come on and tell us all about what it's like working around the town and in the club. So yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah,
be nice to get that dual aspect of it, won't it? a player and then sort of behind the scenes as well. So yeah, that should be a good one. Well done, Bruce, going to the club on Friday. Right. Well done.
That's all right. I think that'll be a red wine all round night. We'll have bottles of red wine sent round to everybody that's taking part, and a snooker table backdrop.
I think I've still got that as a backdrop on here somewhere. Is it still here? Hang on. Layouts, virtual backgrounds. No, I must have removed it. That's a shame. Okay, I'll find it again. But
we still get as many people listen to the pod now that don't watch it live because half the references are visual these days, aren't they?
I know we're not doing very well for those people on audio. We get about 800 downloads a month on each episode, and then we've got 75 people watching at the moment, and then it goes up.
So we prioritise the ones that put the live time in.
People who are dedicated and come on when we need to, and help with the interactions, even though there's been no comments for a while. Apart from Adams coming round the back, it sang Noir. Which is,
God.
lovely.
Marvellous.
What do you? We've got that City game as well. We don't really want to talk about it. Do you want to win it? Get into the next round? Are we still in it? I don't know.
Up until we didn't. Up until before we had the league game postponed, I was all right talking about it. I think I said on one of the other podcasts, and it was fine. But now that I'm totally done with it, so I ain't fucking talking about it.
Can I ask a serious question about this tournament, Alex?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if you'll get a serious answer.
If somebody scores a goal for Grimsby on Saturday, will that go down in our records as that person having scored a goal for the club?
You mean on Tuesday night when we play
Tuesday?
City,
sorry, on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday. Yeah. So that would be an official goal for in your Grimsby Town career. Yeah.
Yeah.
So does that result? But that's a competitive result that we've played, but it's against Manchester City's under 12s or whatever it is. So that's not an official Manchester City game, is it? That's not going to go down that we've, Man City have had a great season. They've won all the games. But hang on, the unbeaten runs come to an end because Grimsby beat the under 21s. So how can it be an official game for us, but not for Manchester City?
Because it's their under 23s that are playing. It's not Man City. It's like their B team, isn't it? It's like the under 23s team that they've got.
Well, that completely backs up then what this is all about, isn't it? We're not actually playing a Manchester City side. Well, we are, but it's not Manchester City, is it? This is the whole thing that people talk about, the B teams and the kids and that. It's an official game for Grimsby Town. If Daniel Orsi gets a hat trick on Tuesday night, that's a hat trick for him against Manchester City. Only it's not Manchester City.
It's the youth team. And the thing is, as well, is like we've had how many Tuesday nights over the last couple of weeks where we could play them. And I think someone came back to me at some point. We're going, they're playing Borussia Dortmund. They're not playing Borussia Dortmund. The first team is the under 21s, under 23s team aren't playing them. I don't think they even play. They probably play a game at home, and they can. Why is that game taking precedent? Why can't they move some under 23 who gives a fuck game where 3 people, mums and dads, turn up instead of the game against Crew? When you're starting to legitimize the under 23s over Crew, that is another part of the wedge. We've been talking about the thin end of the wedge. It's now a bigger part because they're going, that game takes precedent. And then they come back to us and say, because we can't, there's no other space for that team to play. Fucking move that game. That team does not matter. Fucking Man City, Chelsea, Leicester City, fucking toddlers does not matter in comparison to a League Two game where 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people are going to play in it, and where Man City, if they hadn't been bought by a bunch of fucking corrupt, skeletons in the closet fuckers, petro-rich oil dollars, and beheading journalists and keeping down civil rights and the like, they wouldn't be there. They'd have probably been in fucking League Two at some point anyway. They'd have got 30,000 people going like Bradford do, but they'd have still gone down here. So why the fuck does that take precedent? Why does their youth team take precedent over us, over a fucking actual league game?
Yeah, it's a complete joke.
I might need to check with our lawyers.
yeah. If you were listening live, just yeah,
it didn't happen.
Select what you
honestly, mate. The Crown Prince of Dubai, I don't think he's watching, to be honest with you. So I think you'll be fine.
I'm more worried about later on when I'm at work.
Yeah, but you're quite right, mate. It's an absolute fucking joke. And I mean, whilst sharing the opinion of most people, being dead against the competition, I've sort of sat there and sort of entertained it and watched the games and what have you. But that thing with Crew is sort of the final straw with me. I mean, it's quite clear, and I've forgotten what the rule says, but you was on Twitter, Alex, and you noticed it, and the club noticed it and sent a letter. It's quite clear in the EFL rules that they can't do this. They shouldn't do this. But when it's a Premier League team and a Premier League's under 21s team, it's fine for them to break the rules just to accommodate them. And that shows you why it is now part of the wedge, as you said. And, Man City under 21s were playing a UEFA Champions League youth game last week, and they've played those the last couple of weeks. They've got plenty of kids. They've got plenty that can play. Why do we have as a
86
professional
players?
Why do we, as a professional full-time club, have to wait until Man City with their 86 youngsters can put a team out? It's ridiculous, right? We're playing a competitive game, and we're having that moved to fit in a game with Man City's under 21s, right? Man City have got plenty of opportunities to make sure their youngsters get games and can get out on loan and can play games. Why do we have to move that? And why do the EFL allow us to? Why do the EFL make us do that? It's an absolute joke.
And if they can't fulfill the fixture, they can fuck off. Just fuck off. No one needs you. You'll all fucking lose anyway because you're a bunch of kids and you'll get splattered around by fucking Portsmouth.
I did say what we should have done is we should have said, no, we can fulfill both games on that day. We'll play Man City under 21s down at Cheapside. We'll send Ben Davis down with our under 21s and we'll play Crewe at Blundell Park, if that's what they want to do.
And our fucking under 21s would have won and all because they're fucking decent, as we saw from last Tuesday night.
And like we said at the start of this, we're not going to talk about it. We've all had a moan, and a rant about it. But the only thing is though, they bribe you with quite good prize money, don't they? So I do want us to win, but for the blood money, and but I'm not off to the game. No.
And this is the problem, isn't it? Is that I had a row with Baz Whittleton, I think, online when I was watching the Derby game. I pay for the international package because I live in Bordeaux. French under closet, whatever they call this. And you get that game for free. Yeah, under these stairs. I get that package, so I'm not paying extra, but I'll watch it because at least then I can talk back to you guys and stuff. But I won't watch this one because you're getting that point now where people have to pick where their line is. For me, as long as I'm not putting cash into this tournament, I don't give a fuck. I mean, if they're going to give me a free pizza, I'll take it. But I won't give a shit. But and then you got fans against fans. It's just stupid.
Maybe we should organise a trip to the strip club in Lincoln on Tuesday as an alternative for people to do.
Well, I was thinking that maybe we should do we should either do a Wrexham Welcome to Wrexham watch along with that game where we win, or we get Jack on and we do something about 3-Day Millionaire,
or we watch the entire Wrexham game again.
Yeah,
I think in answer to Tom's question that he just put up, if we got to Wembley, would you go? I think I wouldn't go this time. I don't think
I would.
I think the tournament's changed since we went.
It's true, absolutely, but I don't think that final's any less legitimate than the one we played against MK Dons. Because that's not a legitimate game either in my mind. Like, we shouldn't have to play them fuckers. Or am I just being picky?
No, you're right. I'd be torn, and I'm more torn now after this fast with the Crewe rearranged game. I think if we were playing an under 21 team, not at all. If we were playing a normal team, then I'd be really torn on it. Easy to say now that I wouldn't go, but I think I probably would.
No,
because
it's
I'm
not.
a Town fan. I probably would go and watch it. Town playing at Wembley, and that makes me.
Adam is throwing burns. Adam says Bruce doesn't mind missing big finals, in reference for those who had joined us recently, where he missed the National League playoff final, which we won against Solihull Moors, and Bruce didn't bother going because he's not a big fan. And he's gone just like he did at most games. He just leaves early. There he is. Off he goes.
I don't like you, Adam.
That was good. That I like that. The thing is, well, though, with the final is like, it's interesting. Am I trying to make a reason to say yes, I would go and trying to legit? Those players, I love our players, and they're amazing. And in the case of Andy Smith and I don't know who else, but their first ever game at Wembley, I wouldn't want them to feel like we're neglecting them and ignoring them and not going. Granted, then you could say, well, why are you not going to the other games? But for their Wembley game, their day out, I'd go to support them. But that would be it. I wouldn't be supporting the tournament.
I'll find a wedding instead.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. You ain't got that many mates. Come on.
You see what you started.
I didn't say it would be a friends. Just find a wedding.
Just go down to the Millfield, see what's going on. All right, Robbie, how are you doing?
Here, Bruce, you see what you started, mate? Seeing Lee now. You see, getting grief from people in the chat now.
Mike went to Leighton Orient, didn't you?
No,
yeah, definitely did. Definitely did.
He went to Leighton Orient.
2017.
Yeah, 2017. Yeah, when the House guys came along.
Vernon's volley.
That's it.
Disley stink. Wow, what a day out that was.
That was a cracking goal. That. Yeah, I've been to Colchester. But it's been a while since us Southerners have had a game to go to, isn't it? And we got Wimbledon coming up, so none of you Northerners buy a ticket. It'd be rude if you did.
You're Wimbledon's not so bad, is it? Wimbledon, don't we get about 1,200 at Wimbledon? I think, or is it 800?
Yeah, something like that.
1,200. But I think it's Mike's. It's around the corner from Mike that you've got the problem, isn't it? There's about 500 tickets in there.
No, I've told you this about 50 million times, not to over exaggerate. That's last season. They've extended the away allocation because they were building a new stand last year.
Oh, is it? How much is it now, mate?
It's about 1,000.
Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah, nobody's been before though, have they? So it's a new ground.
I've been.
Bruce will get us a ticket.
Yeah, we'll tap Sam up. Oh no, we won't.
Oh yes, this is it. And now we've, what are we going to do now?
We need to be on the. You need to be on the recruitment panel of that new post. Speaking of posts, did you see that they've announced that these links tonight? How good are these links tonight?
I just know what you're walking us into.
He's had too many painkillers, hasn't he?
They've recruited in the role for the museum manager, curator,
Heritage
organizer, whatever it may be.
The thing.
Look, we got. Yeah, go on. No, you go.
No, it seems a little bit strange that Christine didn't get the role, given the work and time that she put in and the contacts that she's built up. So I look forward to seeing how the person that did do it gets on and the relationships that they build with the fans, because I know Christine had built a lot of people that get heavily involved in town's history. Already has a lot of close links. So look forward to a successful project, hopefully, and good use of the money.
I guess, cards on the table stuff. Like, we're all good friends of Christine. She's a real good mate of mine, and her work she does is endlessly, amazing for the club. Most of it is off her own back and is all volunteered. And at some point, that well is going to dry up. So the club either have to hire her to do something, or you lose all the good work that she does. Never mind the goodwill you've probably lost in, giving the role to somebody else. The one thing I would say on the top of that is the friend of a podcaster, Hannah, is very, very sort of complimentary about the work that I think her name is Frankie, who's got the position. She knows her through the time that she's done with East Marsh, and she said you couldn't wish for a better person to do it, and is great in terms of what she can do. So I don't necessarily think it's a case of jobs for the boys, because there is a link with Hodson Architects. I assume they're the guys that are doing the training ground. But it's I'm disappointed.
Let's see what happens. It's a bit surprising. Yeah. Like I say, I'm not saying there's anything other than that. It's a bit surprising, but we don't know how people interview. We don't know how the interviews went, what was presented. But like I say, given the work,
do you think there was a PowerPoint? Is that what it is? Do you think there was a slideshow?
Some sort of video, some video of you in that place in Lincoln 10 years ago, 15 years ago. That's my nana's carpet. Oh my, that's my mum's carpet.
That was my mum's carpet. Well, that's not the name of the podcast this week.
That's my mum's rug.
You know why I blame for the rug? Bruce. Do you know why I blame for the rug? The Frenchman.
Yeah. No, I mean, this week's title should be Grandad John.
I thought the
I tell you who I'm looking at, the Frenchman. The Frenchman was an absolute disgrace when he went on. I tell you who I'm looking at, the Frenchman. The Frenchman was an absolute disgrace when he went on.
There's not much you can do when I'm playing those tunes. You just have to sit here and listen, don't you? You can't really say anything.
Can we talk over that?
Yeah, you can. It's not like
we'll have to start humming our own tune, Mike, or something.
No, it's not like the tune.
Oh, I'm just wild about Harry.
That one doesn't have the same punchiness as the Supermax one.
He's this close to making me actually hum that Supermax song. I caught myself in the week at work. You have now no idea how much I hate this man.
I quite like the Harry one. I have to say, but once he's played it 32 times next Sunday.
It's when he sent us the other version. It's like the whole song. It's like 3 minutes of it.
Yeah, you need to trim that, mate. Yeah, you need to trim that. I think we must have nearly outstayed our welcome again, haven't we, on a Sunday night? Have we done an hour?
Nearly, yeah. Yeah, Ben, we saw the wages for Sam's job up, which was what, 22 to 24. It's a lot to ask for from that, but I think football clubs can get away with doing it because it's a role that people want to be involved in. And I'll be honest, I've been an advocate for that before, like taking advantage of it. The other side of that would be if you offered £30,000 a year for it, would you potentially get someone who is absolutely incredible at that role? Like Sam was.
I think you're always going to train. You're always going to basically train people up, and then they'll move on eventually, won't they? And if you're happy with that at a salary, then a certain salary point, then that's the way it is, isn't it? But yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see. It's a big time. Big changes at the as we discussed with Jason, and that's going to happen as part of what's gone on. So, but I mean, you can't fault what's going on around the club that we see, can you? On the pitch, and and the experience of going to the games off it.
I'd like a striker. I mean, another one. I mean, I would like a striker.
$500,000. We only want to spend $500,000, don't we?
Just buy that bloke from Notts County because he's pretty good, and also it would really piss off Notts County, which is quite funny. And also buy that bloke from Scunny just to sit on our bench, the one who scored all their goals.
Just one thing, because I didn't get a chance when Bruce was on his rant earlier about the game. I think playing Kiernan up front on yesterday actually showed you the difference you have when you have a different type of striker that can do something a little bit different. We're all a little bit one. Fuck you. We're all about One Direction at the minute, aren't we?
I like One Direction. Great band.
I bet you haven't got one of their songs lined up for him. No, he said that.
No, they'd be quite hot on the copyright, wouldn't they?
Bit niche.
Julie Garland and these drunk Dutch blokes are probably all right.
Didn't one of them own Doncaster? Or used to play for him? Louis Tomlinson used to play for Donny.
Yeah, he did. He was a big old Donny fan, wasn't he? Yeah. He'll probably buy him at some point. Ben says, get Bogle. Yes, Ben. That is always the answer to every question. Akati back in training on the 14th, allegedly. Lee says with a wink. I can't. The problem is there's so many now. It takes a while to scroll through them. So I need to, have a get Bogle wording over it. So if anyone is good at like the Rachel Adedeji, then get in touch and we'll put your name over the top of it.
Nick Abbott.
Who's he? Wasn't he? Right, are we done, gentlemen? It was lovely to talk to you. It felt very jovial tonight. I wonder if it's because we won 5-1.
Personally, I've hated it.
Did we?
I mean,
marvelous.
I'll tell you something. We haven't really talked about it that much, but how the fuck did that happen? Like, they're top of League One. They're running away with it. I know they made changes, but we made changes too. We had no strikers, and we just fuck off with 5-1. It's like, see you later, lad.
It's a good lesson for everybody that starts having an opinion before a ball's been kicked and things like that. And I think
I will always have an opinion on the team.
A lot of deletes going on yesterday.
Nah, if you look at, you got to admit, you looked at that team and went, "What? Like, I'm battening down the hatches. This is, play for set pieces." 11 men behind the ball.
Cautious, didn't it? Maybe it's the Ali print that's been holding us back all these years. Now it's gone to its new home.
He'll be back.
I'm going to buy you that one from the range.
If you bought me that one from B&Q or wherever you were the other day, I'll be not happy.
Did anybody else hear the new BBC radio soundtrack that they had during the game?
What was that?
Just every couple of minutes, somebody calling the linesman an arsehole.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. I loved it. Well done for that bloke. More of that, please.
It's when John Saunders he stops talking to listen and then doesn't realise everybody else can listen to what he's saying.
It was a lot of fun. I love it. Oh, I mean, they should sit him in the lower, shouldn't they, Bruce?
Who, JT? Moving around the ground so we can share the lower love with you listeners in France.
Yeah, exactly. I can hear you talking about, I don't know.
I'm one of the quiet ones. I'm one of the quiet ones, to be honest.
Actually, hang on. How did that work yesterday then? So you gave him the Ali poster. Did you just walk into the ground with this Ali poster under your arm?
No, right. Well, there's a story here.
Okay.
A very brief one. On Friday, I had to go and collect my ticket because I hadn't decided that I was definitely going. And anyway, I had to go and get a ticket for me and Maisie, and I had to do some shopping for Father Christmas while I was there. And then,
hang on, do I have any story music here? I don't think I do.
Oh, like our tune? You remember that on Radio 1? You're probably a bit young for that. The old the old sad couple one. But no, anyway, I messaged a member of the Mariners Trust board and said, I've got this print to drop off at the ground, and I think I might struggle to get it through the turnstiles tomorrow. So is there any chance I could drop it off on Friday in the bar? Because normally Sharon's there getting ready for the game the next day with, sorting the barrels and whatever else. But when I got there was just two blokes fixing the fire door next to the turnstiles in the lower, and the bar door was locked. So I had to sort of put it underneath the ketchup table, as we'll call it, and sort of put it to the back, and just had to hope that no one nicked it. And then we met up for the handover after the game, and I went and retrieved it, and we had a little photo in the bar, me handing it over, which I've shared with you, and the deed was done, and he's going to put it up on the wall when he gets a chance. I did tell him if he wanted to just get rid of it, he can do.
I'm so glad you've shared that story, Bruce.
Yeah. I just like the idea that, it's like, what are you bringing that in for? I don't matter. It's now a Facebook Market drop-up place.
Are we saying there's a guy sat in the Lower Smiths just holding an Ali picture that we might be able to see on some of the pictures or video footage?
Like this in the
smashed it over the linesman's head. Yeah,
I deconstructed the picture so it could become less dangerous.
Hang on, are we saying then that Ali picture now has 100% winning ratio at Blundell Park?
It's in York. It's in York now. He has. I think it was his first game of the season.
What, the poster or him?
Oh, it was definitely the poster's first bloody game of the season. Yeah, I'm not going to say it, Mike. I'm not going to say it. I won't bother. Right,
we're done. I think, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure to speak to you. We hope you all enjoyed your time with us today. It was great. We will try and think of doing something entertaining on Tuesday because no one wants to watch that shit. But there we go. Bruce, pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. See you soon.
Mike, pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
No worries, mate. Good to see you.
And for all you lovely people, have a great evening. Enjoy your week. And we'll see you next week as well. See you later. Bye.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Drew! They've done it again, this team!
What a magnificent piece of football! Really, really good goal! You can't legislate for that! Grimsby are heading back to the Football League!
Love it.